Welcome in. It is day 135, and you're speaking to the Meeples Champion. And today we're going to be jumping into a game that I'm going to do my best to give a quick little review on. This is one I don't know much about because it is sat on my shelf unplayed since my first play of it, which was over 10 years ago. That game is Through the Ages. Through the Ages was an early in my collection game I picked up because my friends and I had gotten to Catan, had gotten to Ticket to Ride, and we'd started to go beyond that and we're trying out newer games. And we had heard that this was like a really good, build up your civilization, investing in different types of cards and really moving through resources and learnings and developing your culture. And we thought, wow, this is great. We're getting into these kind of games. Let's get it. So we picked it up. We played it. Had no idea what we were doing. Had no idea at the end of the game what we really had done. And when we scored it, we're like, the person who won was just like, really? Okay. It was not easy. And I've tried to go back and play it since. And honestly, for me, it's a weird balance of it's extremely difficult, and I don't feel they did a good job of theming it out. It's more wordy than anything else, which takes away from feeling the experience of getting into that world, of feeling like you're really in the game. When I play a game, I want to have a little bit of a taste of, when I played Nemesis, everything was so well put together that you felt that tension of being on a ship. When I play Clank, I feel that excitement of being an adventurer going down for treasure. When I played this, I didn't get that feel. It just felt so generic. It was like I was playing one of those early, 90s type, like a Scrabble or a straight, it was like I was playing an abstract game almost, only it wasn't abstract and it was extremely complicated. The fun of an abstract game is that they're usually either very strategic or they're very quick. This was extremely long, yet it had the feel of abstract, which took away from its theme, and it wasn't easy. So, the concept being, of course, that you're working on trying to work on your literature, your warfare, your, bringing up the different types of structures. Some things are positive, some things are negative. You're moving these little cubes all over as you're filling in your area and showing what you've advanced in. And at the end of the game, things score out for you. I can't really get into much detail because honestly, I tried, and well, why don't we just jump in our 7 categories? I'm going to explain this stuff as we go. I don't want to waste everybody's time on a game that doesn't deserve that much. Let's go into this. The art. The art of this game is straightforward. The box isn't that good, and it's the highlight of the art. When you're jumping into the game itself, it's so much words. There is no art. You don't get to enjoy a visual of anything. Everything is just overwhelmed with all of this. It's really bad. It's a big thumbs down. I do not like the art in this game. The components. I'll give them the credit on the components. So you got your cards, you've got your little markers with your little wooden, marker spots. You've got your board. Everything's fine. I have no complaint. It's held up for years. I'll give that a thumbs up. Your price. Now, Through the Ages, this one specifically called Through the Ages, A Story of Civilization. I don't know if this version is as available anymore, but I'm pretty sure the newer ones are just the same thing as this. They're out there. You'll probably find them in 2 out of 5 stores. You're not going to find this in a Target. You're not going to find this in a Barnes & Noble. And it's expensive. When I got this game, it was over 60. It might have been even 70 at the time. I'm not sure how today's compare to that, but honestly, if you drop this all the way down to like 40, then you're just barely touching what I would consider to pay for it. I think 45, 50 is where you start to get to that range where I go, it's not worth the money. I don't like the game, so I wouldn't recommend it based on almost any money. But if you're interested in trying the game, I think 40 is acceptable. I think when you hit 50 is when this game is really, for me, out. And it's more likely at the 60 range. So that's a thumbs down. Difficulty. This game is so hard to follow, and I can go through that it's clearly not for beginners, it's not for kids. I can go through that even experienced players will get lost, and even an expert player might go like, what am I doing here? But let's ignore all of that, and let's go with the most important factor to me as to why the difficulty sucks on this. Its rulebook is tedious to an unbelievable amount. It's like 14 or 15 pages of nothing but just filled in words. It's like there's barely examples. It's just reading and reading and reading. You do something in the game and you're like, I wonder how that affects it. And just to find it and then to figure out like, oh, well, it's mentioned here, might be mentioned over there. It's so complicated. I tried to pull the game out and play it again and it just did not work. I couldn't understand what I was doing and I was like, I'm not committing 2 hours to learning this to do this video. I have to shoot it based on what I remember. So it's a giant thumbs down. Replayability. No, I'm not playing it back to back. I'm not playing it multiple weeks, months. I'm not playing it twice in a year. I won't touch it again ever, but I don't think most people are playing this more than once every year or two. So thumbs down on replayability. Is it unique? It's not unique. There are lots of games that do this kind of thing. One of my earliest videos was Progress, Evolution of Technology. It does this idea. The difference is that the tech tree that this takes advantage of was done well in that game and is done well in lots of games. But in this game, I feel that it's just not utilized to a good degree. But as far as the can I sit down and play a civilization style game with a tech tree, advancements, all of that, there are plenty of games that do that for you, and I recommend all of those over this one. So it's a thumbs down. Overall, what do I think? I don't like this game. I've tried to sell this game many times. I'm happy that I've held on just long enough so I can review it, but I do try to sell this game on a repetitive basis. I don't like it. I think it's a waste being in my collection. I think it takes up space. I'd rather be elsewhere. But if you think you'd like it, I'm not going to say don't try it because obviously the game sells. It's obviously made into other people's collections. It's obviously not massively popular, but it's not unpopular. So it does grab some people. That might be the way some people like to play games. It's just not the way I like to play game. I like my theme to be strong and I like to have my difficulty evened out with that theme. And this one is lopsided. So it just doesn't work for me. But if it works for you, that's awesome. And I want you to find games that you like. So pay attention to those things that matter to you. Check it out if you think it's something that might match up. And it doesn't hurt to give it a try. I just recommend don't buy it until you've played it, because that was my mistake. Well, it has been day 135, and we've been talking about the game Through the Ages. And you're speaking to the Meeples Champion. Like, share, subscribe, and check down below in the description if you are interested in adding this to your collection. I'll put in a link there for you. Until next time, I'll talk to you tomorrow.